In the dusty heart of Ouagadougou, where the sun casts long golden shadows and the winds carry both songs and sorrow, Burkina Faso stood at a crossroads. The country had seen violence, coups, and fear. But in the midst of it all, it had found something else. Hope. And that hope had a name, President Ibrahim Traoré, a man of the people, a soldier who had become the face of a new beginning. But what the world didn't know was that his life, and perhaps the very soul of the nation, would one day be saved not by soldiers nor intelligence agents, but by a little boy with big eyes and a drawing in his hand. In a humble neighborhood just outside the center of the capital, 5-year-old Adam Sawadogo lived with his mother Fatima, a young widow who sold mangoes on the roadside. Adam was small for his age, quiet but observant. He had a habit of drawing on scraps of paper people, flags, soldiers, but his favorite thing to draw was President Traoré. "Why do you always draw him?" Fatima asked one night. "Because he made the bad men leave my school," Adam answered simply. Fatima smiled, though her heart ached. A year ago, armed men had occupied Adam's kindergarten. It was President Traoré's swift military response that had liberated the area and reopened the school. From that day, Adam saw the president not just as a man but a hero. The news came over the radio that President Traoré would be visiting the Children's Hospital of Ouagadougou to inaugurate a new pediatric wing. It was meant to be a moment of joy, a sign that even in times of struggle, life must go on. Fatima wasn't planning to attend. Crowds were dangerous and she didn't want to get in the way. But Adam begged her. "I want to give him my drawing," he said, holding up a picture he had carefully drawn. Himself standing hand in hand with President Traoré, both smiling under a blue Burkinabe sky. Fatima hesitated. But that morning, something in her son's eyes told her this was important. Meanwhile, unknown to everyone, danger had already taken root. He called himself Ishak, a former militia member who had been recruited by a foreign network determined to destabilize the fragile government. The hospital visit had been publicized, too publicized. Ishak had a plan, a fake gardener's uniform, and a semi-automatic pistol hidden in the base of a water canister. No metal detector would find it. He had timed it perfectly. The president would enter through the west gate, greet the children, and within 3 minutes, would pass directly by the flower bed where Ishak waited, smiling politely, ready to kill. The hospital courtyard was buzzing with excitement. Journalists, nurses, parents, and children all gathered. Security was tight, but as always, children were allowed to be children. Adam clutched his picture in both hands, too small to see past the crowd. He tugged on Fatima's sleeve. "I can't see, Mama." "Stay close," she said. But Adam, innocent and fearless, let go and began weaving through the legs of adults, slipping past barriers with the ease only a child can manage. At the same moment, President Traoré's convoy arrived. The gates opened. Applause thundered. The president stepped out, smiling and waving. And Adam, bright-eyed, holding a folded piece of paper, ran right up to him. The guards moved quickly, but the president raised his hand. "Let him come." Adam reached him, looking up in awe. "This is for you," he said, handing the drawing. President Traoré unfolded it slowly and smiled. "You drew this?" Adam nodded. "It's me and you. Because you made my school safe." Traoré was touched. "What's your name?" "Adam." But before the president could say more, Adam's eyes wandered, drawn to the man in the garden, the one holding the water can. The man wasn't watering anymore. He was standing too still. His hand was slowly moving toward the base of the can. And Adam, with the clarity only children have, whispered, "That man has a gun." The words struck like lightning. In a split second, President Traoré's military instincts returned. He looked up sharply. His bodyguards reacted, radios clicked, hands moved to weapons. Ishak saw he had been spotted. He pulled the pistol, raised it, but the guards were faster. In a flurry of motion, they tackled him to the ground before he could fire a single shot. Screams filled the courtyard. Children cried. Parents ran. But Adam stayed rooted where he stood, stunned, as President Traoré knelt beside him and wrapped him in his arms. Later that night, President Traoré addressed the nation. His eyes were red, his voice calm but heavy with emotion. "I am alive because of a 5-year-old boy named Adam," he said. He saw what trained men did not. His eyes, pure and unafraid, saw through deception. "I owe my life to him, and our country owes him its gratitude." Photos of Adam and his drawing spread across the internet. Candlelight vigils were held in cities and villages. Children everywhere held up drawings of their own. Fatima, overwhelmed, wept quietly as people came to her home to give thanks. Weeks later, a new law was passed, the Adam Initiative, a national child protection and education fund named after the boy who reminded a nation what innocence can achieve. A bronze plaque was mounted at the children's hospital gate. To Adam Sawadogo, age 5, who saw clearly when the world could not. And on Adam's bedroom wall, still taped with care, was a photo of him in the arms of the president. Above it, the crayon drawing that saved a life. Adam never fully understood the weight of what he had done. To him, it was simple. He saw something wrong and said something. That's all. But history would remember. Burkina Faso would remember. Because sometimes the bravest voice in the crowd is the smallest one.